So the next chapter is regarding the Adab al-Quran Kareem and some of its virtues. So the Imam rahimahullah ta'ala, he says that the virtues of the Quran are tremendous. First, it is the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in which he has praised its many verses. He says, وَهَذَا كِتَابٌ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مُبَارَكٌ, that this is a book we have sent down blessed, Mubarak. إِنَّ هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ يَهْدِي لِلَّتِي هِيَ أَقْوَمُ, it is a book which guides to the straight way. لَا يَأْتِهِ الْبَاطِلُ مِنْ بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ وَلَا مِنْ خَلْفِهِ, falsehood does not approach it from before or behind. Imam al-Bukhari mentions a hadith of Uthman ibn Affan in which the Prophet ﷺ, he says, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَهُ, the best of you are those that learn the Quran and then they teach it. So in this one hadith alone, important to note the narrator of the hadith, Uthman ibn Affan, because he'll come up later in this chapter. He was among the companions that recited the Quran frequently. And I mean frequently. There's a frequency we're not familiar with. And it was him that narrated this very hadith. The best of you are those that learn the Quran and then they teach it. It's also reported of the Prophet ﷺ, he says, إِنَّ لِلَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ أَهْلَيْنِ مِنَ النَّاسِ, Allah has two groups from mankind. Two of them are His. And they asked, who are they, O Messenger? He says, Ahlul Quran, the people of the Quran, Hum Ahlullah wa khasatuhu. These are Allah's people, and these are special. They are special to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he says, La yu'adhibu Allahu qalban wa'al Quran, that Allah will not punish a heart that has been filled with the Quran. Another narration of the Prophet ﷺ, it will be said, the Sahib al-Quran, to the one that has memorized the Quran, or that has memorized portions of it, اقرأ وارقى ورتل كما كنت ترتل في الدنيا. Recite and ascend as you read when you were in this world, in the dunya. فَإِنَّ مَنْزِلَتَكَ عِنْدَ آخِرِ آيَةٍ تَقْرَأُ, meaning that you will continue to recite into the darajat, and there's many, many levels of paradise. Between each level are darajat. Between each, as we know, the main 7 levels of paradise, they are also various, they're not like, as we know, one floor and then the second floor right above it, but you will continue to ascend through the darajat as you recite, and then when you stop, that's where your abode will be. Another narration, this is very encouraging for parents here. The Prophet ﷺ, he says that the Quran will connect or will meet with the one that possessed them in this world, meaning they memorized from the Quran. They will meet with them Yawm al-Qiyamah, when they are brought from the grave. And the Quran will come as a pale man. His color has changed. He'll say, do you recognize me? And you'll say, no, I don't recognize you. And the Quran will say, I'm your companion, the Quran that kept you thirsty in hot days and that kept you awake during the night. It will say, every merchant gets a portion of their business. Their reward is their tijara. He says, today I am the prophet of your business on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And so he will be given the dominion in his right hand, and he'll be given eternity in his left hand. And he will be he will be, a crown of dignity and honor will be placed on his head, and his parents will be adorned in clothing this world has never known. And they will say, why are we being adorned? Or for what reason are we being adorned in such clothing? And it will be said, because your child took the Quran and memorized. And then it will be said, Iqra was'ad. He says, read and ascend through the levels of paradise and its various stations, and you will ascend as much as you recite, whether you do it quickly or whether you do it at a moderate pace. So Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he said that it's a must that the one who possesses the Quran, has memorized it, that he be known by his nights when people are sleeping, and during the daytime when people are busy eating, or they're busy, maybe it's a mufarritun here, maybe they're just out and about and negligent, and that he is sad when the people are happy, and that he cries when the people are laughing, and that he's known for his good character and silence when people are arguing, and he's known for his khushu' when people are being boastful. He shouldn't be rude, the person that memorizes the Quran. They shouldn't be heedless. They shouldn't be loud in their speech, and they shouldn't be angry. One of the great Imams, Al-Fudayl ibn Iyad, rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, the one who's memorized the Quran is someone who is waving the banner of Islam. A person who memorized the Quran or portions of the Quran is waving the banner of Islam. And so it's not appropriate that they be idle or that they waste their time like others, or that they be absent-minded like others who are absent-minded, that they don't be distracted. They're not distracted while others are distracted, and they do this venerating and glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they're a representative. They're Ahlullah, Allah's people, His chosen people, and so they represent Islam, and so they have to carry themselves in a different way. They don't carry themselves like the rest of people, those that don't read, they don't recite, they don't memorize, they don't act upon. But those that have memorized the Quran, they have to be distinguished people. And they should not have any need of anyone, but rather the people should be in need of them. They should not have any need from people, but the people are to be in need of them. Right? They should be in need of, the people should be in need of them because they're carrying the Quran, they're carrying with them guidance, carrying the book of Allah. Imam Ahmad was reported to have said, I saw my Lord the Majestic fil manam, Rabbul Izzah. I saw him while I was sleeping in a dream. And this has been reported in the Sunnah that it's possible to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a dream. How that is, only Allah knows. He says, "O my Lord, what is the best thing by which we can draw near to you? Those that seek to get close to you." And Allah says, by my speech, Ya Ahmad. It's Imam Ahmad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed him in his dream. He says, Bi kalami ya Ahmad. By my speech, meaning the Quran, O Ahmad. He says, Ya Rabbi bi fahmin aw bi ghayri fahm. With understanding or without understanding? Meaning, is it a requirement or condition that I read the Quran and I have to understand all the words in order to get closer to you? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bi fahmin wa bi ghayri fahmin. Both. Reading my speech with understanding, or just simply reading it. Right? So it's encouragement for those of us that We don't understand every single thing that we read. By reading it, it's an act of devotion, worship, and a way to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Should never allow that to be a deterrent. Say, well, I don't understand what I'm reading anyway, so there's no point in reading at all. No. There's a lot of reward in reading Allah's book. And it's also a sign that you're not neglecting it. You don't want to neglect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's speech, but you want to recite as much as possible regardless of whether you understand or not. The next section so that's a little bit of the virtues of the Quran.